Good vibes, guys. What's up? I'm back again for another video today. And first off, happy Thanksgiving. I hope all of y'all stay safe, traveling, or if you're staying in town, wherever you guys are at and located. Just enjoy time with your family and truly think about what you're thankful for. I'm thankful for basketball, but I'm also thankful for my family and the people I know. Absolutely. So today's going to be a short video today, but I just wanted to speak on what we're thankful for in Thanksgiving. I wanted to look into the Los Angeles Lakers roster and some of the additions that they've made and see and mainly talk about whether or not they are going to get better or get worse based on the changes that they've made this season. So before I get started, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. And please comment down below who is your favorite Los Angeles Lakers player currently. All right, now let's get into it. Okay, so here are some of the moves that the Lakers made this offseason. So first off, they ended up trading Danny Green and a pick. It was the 28th pick, I believe, for Dennis Schroeder. Then they ended up signing Wesley Matthews. Right, and then they ended up signing Montrezl Harrell from the Los Angeles Clippers, which was, I exploded. That was insane. But in the process, they let go of Dwight Howard, right? They re-signed Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, which was great. But then they let go of Avery Bradley, Rajon Rondo, Quinn Cook, and, well, I already said Dwight Howard, but yeah, Dwight Howard again. Then they traded JaVale McGee for Jordan Bell and Alfonso McKinney, and then they signed Marc Gasol. And so, what we're looking at right now is they are going to re-sign Anthony Davis, but it's going to be a little later, and how long the deal is, we don't know yet. But let's just automatically, while we're talking, assume that Anthony Davis is coming back, okay? So, starting lineup-wise, I think you have Dennis Schroeder, you have Wesley Matthews, you have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Marc Gasol. And I know that sounds crazy, but one of the ideas I've been thinking about is, would Montrezl Harrell and Anthony Davis work well in a starting lineup together? Because Montrezl Harrell's a center, but he's short. And I doubt they would be playing him at power forward. I really doubt they would, just because of his play style specifically. And last year, honestly, in my opinion, Dwight Howard was a better center than JaVale McGee, but they kept him off the bench because JaVale McGee was a good starting caliber player, and he let Dwight Howard bring a spark off the bench. And people like Montrezl Harrell, obviously, since he was just the sixth man of the year, right, thrive off the bench. And I feel like last year the Lakers needed somebody like that off their bench. Now, granted, they did have Dwight Howard, but I think they were looking for somebody a little more who can come in while LeBron James and AD are resting. Because, let's face it, guys, LeBron is not slowing down. He's not slowing. Doesn't seem like he is, but eventually he is going to slow down. And he needs to rest. And especially this season, because of the short turnaround for LeBron, he needs to be able to rest. And they still need to be able to win games. So it makes sense why they are making these moves at this current time. So yeah, I think that'd be the starting lineup. I think the bench would probably be Caruso, KCP, Kuzma, Harrell. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure all this out. I'm just trying to figure out how that lineup would work. Because here's the thing. You could, in theory, if you're playing LeBron at point guard, because I'm taking into consideration LeBron playing at the 3. If he's playing point guard, then you have LeBron. You can have Schroeder if you want, but then at that point, I feel like he'd come off the bench. But you can have LeBron, you can have Wesley Matthews, you can have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and then you can have Anthony Davis, and then Marc Gasol, right? And then have Schroeder and Harrell off the bench, which would be insane, right? That'd basically be like Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell on the Clippers, except if you think Schroeder is better than Lou, then better, right? That's debatable for sure. Then you have people like Kuzma off the bench, who I still think Kuzma's worth something. I know he didn't do much in the playoffs this past year, but I still think he is worth something. Alex Caruso, defensive beast for sure, and Marc Gasol is a starting quality center, even still, even though he's getting older, right? This team is just so interesting because there's so many new pieces and it could go so many different ways. Like, I could see Dennis Schroeder starting or being benched. I could see Harrell most likely being benched, but I would not be surprised if they started him. I don't think that would be a good idea. Honestly, putting Harrell beside AD, just because that just doesn't make much sense, honestly. I mean, to the crediting the Mavericks, Kristaps Porzingis is 7'3", and he played alongside, like, Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber. So, and those centers were shorter than their power forward, who was Kristaps. So maybe it could work. I just don't know. I do not know. I feel like I would be more excited seeing Marc Gasol starting over Montrezl Harrell, because don't get me wrong, Montrezl Harrell is a better player for sure than Marc Gasol, but I feel like it would just make the team more like exciting almost, having somebody like Harrell who's thrived as a sixth man to just be able to still come off the bench and do his thing and not have to change his role. And he can do that. That's the thing. It's not like, oh, well, we have no other centers, so it's do or die. We have to have him in our starting lineup. No, they have options. So I feel like they should keep Harrell off the bench and start Schroeder, but I just don't know. It all depends on if they make any more moves. I heard that the Lakers are pursuing Glenn Robinson III, which is cool. That's another shooter. Glenn Robinson III actually he did pretty well for the Warriors this past year, and then went over to Philly and did a heck of a job over there too for a little bit. I think Burks was for sure better than Robinson in Philadelphia, but and Golden State. But anyways, so the fact is that the Lakers have pieces, right? In my opinion, they got better. Just because I was really skeptical of them losing Dwight Howard. I really wanted Dwight Howard to stay. When I saw he signed with Philadelphia, it was very, very bittersweet. I didn't like it more than I liked it. Because, if you see right there, that's a Joel Embiid jersey. I'm a Hornets fan, but my second team has always been Philadelphia, which is sad because this past season we were the laughingstock of basically the entire league until the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead. Sorry, Clippers. Hold on. Let me stop right there and apologize. Clippers fans, I'm sorry. It is natural for me to make fun of the Clippers after I was cheering for LeBron this whole season. I've been a LeBron fan since I was 5 or 6 years old. Before I started watching basketball or getting into basketball, way before. I always liked LeBron James. And so when I saw that the Clippers, they've just always had, their history is just cursed. It seems like whether it's draft or they're trading somebody away or somebody gets hurt, I feel like they've just always been a cursed franchise. I mean, the Hornets, they're just bad. They're a small market. But the Clippers, it's just so funny. And then I was just thinking, well, they could actually give LeBron a run for his money. It was just so funny seeing them fall apart again. And blowing a 3-1 lead, that's like the biggest, choke job you can do in the NBA. Unless you're, have a great lineup and then your players don't mesh and you just lose a bunch of games for no reason whatsoever. But that wouldn't make much sense, honestly. Yeah, I'm sorry, Clippers fans. I know y'all are going through a lot of pain yourselves. If you want my honest opinion, keep Paul George. I know it sounds dumb. I know it sounds stupid. But try one more season. I really feel like Paul George is still a very good player. I don't know what happened in those playoffs. I will say, I think I said this a few months back to one of my brothers. Paul George kind of reminds me of a lower scale Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady was great. He was a great player, especially for Orlando, right? But he never got far in the playoffs. Ever. Because he just, he would always choke. He would always mess up in the playoffs. He just wasn't like that Rondo player who steps it up in the playoffs, right? And that's who I thought, he just chokes under pressure. And that's what I thought Paul George was most like this past season. I really think he's still a good player because we saw just a season ago how good he was in OKC. And on top of that, in the regular season, he wasn't even that bad. He averaged, 21 points per game? Maybe more. So he was still pretty good, and that was alongside Kawhi Leonard and Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell. All these guys getting time, trying with the ball. So I think you guys are going in the good direction. but it's unclear. I mean, the Clippers got Serge Ibaka, so they will be competing with this Lakers team. I just honestly feel like this Lakers team is better than that Clippers team because they got Montrezl Harrell off of them. And yeah, Serge Ibaka is a good player. He is, but he's getting old. And nobody can be a LeBron, okay? Serge Ibaka he seems like he's getting much older. Marc Gasol is getting old too, but Montrezl Harrell just is a lot younger, and I feel like he can finish stronger than Serge Ibaka around the rim. And he can just be that guy that LeBron needs. He fills a role that the Lakers need to be filled. And so it's all about tactics. It's basically just who can get the most filled out team first, and that's the team that wins, right? I mean, we saw the Heat. I mean, if that team won a championship with Wade, Bosh, and LeBron, and then they had other guys like Chalmers, then this Lakers team can for sure win another championship. For sure. If they had AD and LeBron and a struggling Danny Green, but then had little heroics like KCP in the finals, right? And Alex Caruso's defense, right? And then they add Harrell, Gasol, Wesley Matthews, who, by the way, is a good shooter himself, right? And they re-signed KCP, the guy who helped them. And they're trying to re-sign Markieff Morris. I don't know if they re-signed him already, but he was clutch in the finals too. All I'm saying is, guys, this is going to be a really fun season to watch for the Lakers. There are going to be so many fun teams, whether you're watching Brooklyn, whether you're watching Houston, which, don't give up on Houston. Russ and Harden haven't been traded yet, and now they have Cousins and they have Christian Wood. I'd be watching that team if I were you. And Portland, oh, don't get me started on Portland. And Philadelphia, new and improved, right? Boston is, they got a little worse, but I mean, they're still exciting. There's just so many teams. Dallas, there's Phoenix. I can't even stop listing teams that are going to be super exciting and fun to watch, right? Even my own Hornets, I am excited as a Hornets fan, but I've been seeing people on Instagram and Snapchat saying, I'm so excited to watch the Hornets play, and I never thought I would say that. And I'm like, then I should be excited to watch the Hornets too, right? Minnesota, even, right? So, all that to say, I'm excited for this season. Really excited for this Lakers team. I really hope they mesh well, and I hope they make a good choice with Montrezl Harrell, and I hope they put him on the bench for sure, guys. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Once again, be sure to leave a like, comment below who your favorite Lakers player currently is, and I will see you guys later. So have a great